Have you ever asked yourself why the waiting season seems so long? Sometimes you find yourself asking questions like, God, okay, how do I actually wait? Or before we are able to understand how we should wait, we must understand why we are waiting, or what God does in that time, because He's a God that does not waste seasons. And above and beyond that, when God is raising a vessel, He uses processes to be able to train and develop that vessel. So let's look at 3 things that God gives you in your season of waiting. Number 1, it's a message. So anytime you want to be used by God, you must understand that He has an intended purpose for what He has called you to. And He's not going to give you that message by communicating what He feels and what He thinks about that thing through words. He's going to use circumstances and situations to develop that message in you, to teach you firstly what it is to face those circumstances and situations, and secondly to then teach you how to overcome those things so that you can make a difference in other people's lives. And remember, this is not just subject to people who are called to a pulpit, but even in the areas and spheres that God has called you into, He still wants you to make a difference and carry out His kingdom in those specific areas. So everything you go through is a method that God is using to develop a message specifically tailored for an audience that He has designed and created you for, regardless of where He places you. Number 2, it's for power. When we look at the disciples that literally saw Jesus face to face, literally, spoke to Him every single day, they still had to wait for the Holy Spirit to come so that they can receive power and boldness to be able to carry out the administration of the gospel, which is what they saw Jesus do, what they heard Him say. They had to wait on the presence of the Holy Spirit to be able to carry out that message. So a lot of the times you may find that you have a message, but no power and no boldness to back that message up. And now the Lord has to also allow you to go through things, or rather tell you sometimes in most cases to wait for the Holy Spirit to do an inworking in you before He then uses you in whatever sphere He has called you to. And the third thing, God is preparing your character. Now in the waiting season, that is where God begins to bring to the surface impurities in your life that He wants to deal with. And with this, He uses circumstances and situations to show you how you react. Because remember, when God is testing you, the test is not for Him, but the test is in actual fact for you to see what it is that is within you, what it is that He needs to work out and develop, so that you can steward well what God has promised you. So if anybody is tired of waiting, and if anybody is asking, how should I wait? The best way to wait is to remain in God's presence and to remain at His feet.